So these are the few important points to keep in mind while we document. So I hope I addressed your query. Is there any other query on this part?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so now I will move out to the next slide, which is goals of this module. So let me and bird view of the SOC team. So go to that. So now overall, what's the goal? Basically, it's just kind of a content is that we need to kind of understand now going forward how the SOC collects the data. We'll look at the SEIM and what kind of data we normally collect. Okay, what are the common attack tactics that we need to kind of look out for? We need to understand about the attacker. We also need to kind of understand like how to identify attacks, and from the logs that is coming to our systems, to our logging department, to kind of understand the alert from the traffic, network traffic, or from the disk logs. We'll also kind of see a basic overflow. Okay, what are the SOC tools that we use? What's the information that we look for? What's the workflow of the trials? And how we can kind of perform high quality analysis and investigation. And we'll also kind of look at few steps, how we can kind of make our life less painful, because the SOC team, the alerts, it's not something like it comes 5 or 6 alert a day. It's like hundreds of alerts that comes a day. So there's a very high chance of the of what to say, alert fatigue. There's a term called alert fatigue, where the analysts are tired of kind of handling the alert. So how we handle those things, and how we can kind of, keeping all this in mind, how we can kind of be successful as a blue team member in our organization. So we'll kind of have a look in all these things in a more on a more deeper stages going forward. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about the bird view of the SOC now. Okay, so before we kind of dive into a little bit low level over here, there are few questions that actually we need to kind of answer. So one of the thing is that what do we do and how we do it. Okay, so now what I'll be kind of going forward is we're kind of discussing, let's say a few other queries. Okay, we'll try to answer a few queries. So let's say the first query will be, okay, so the first query will be, let's say the core queries the SOC must answer. Okay, so this is something we'll kind of look at. We will be also kind of looking at, let's say, how to kind of identify and meet the risk of any company. Okay, and the risk, I mean the cyber security risk. Okay, then kind of we'll be kind of looking at a little bit about SOC, let's say SOC org charts. Okay, the roles and functions in little bit more details. Okay, and then we'll be kind of looking at critical information and documents that kind of we need to kind of have on hand, like the documents that a SOC analyst needs to be kind of be thorough. What are documents that a SOC analyst needs to be thorough in of their organization. And the last part, maybe if time permits, we'll also look at a little bit about the metrics, like how we scale any kind of risk that is in our company. Okay, so these are the few things now kind of we'll be kind of looking at from the SOC level. So before we deep dive into low level details, it is worth having some high level discussion on the mission of the defense team and how it should be derived, as well as kind of how a SOC operates. So in this section, we'll kind of discuss what we do, as well as kind of how we do it from a strategic perspective. Okay, so it is important to understand these things in a level in order to understand unique goals and setup of any SOC team. So there are many valid ways to run and organize a cybersecurity operation, but each one needs to be kind of optimized. Like all the points need to be optimized as per the organization need. Okay, so understanding the answers to this high level question ensure everyone on the team kind of agrees on the top level missions that a SOC analyst SOC team provides, and the objective and decisions that is kind of taken out from those kind of, let's say, the handling of the alert. So it will also kind of helps the business to be secure. And if we do, or if we kind of answer all this point, it also kind of also give a chance for the SOC team to say the leadership why the SOC team is really needed for the company. Okay, so let's deep dive a little bit more on this. So let me ask one question from you guys. My first question is, let's say, what are we kind of trying to protect? Okay, so can you kind of give me certain details, for any of the organization, let's say, not just specific to your organization, as a SOC team member, what are the things that you'll be trying to protect of any company? What that should be? Some few points that would come to your mind.
First, we'll try to protect their data, and
Okay.
we'll also try to protect the critical assets, because uh, hackers may also try to bring down the critical devices so that the
Yeah,
organization's need might come down.
correct. Correct. Yeah. So so that's kind of exactly the main one of the.
Yeah,
Yeah, go on.
we will try to protect the
Network. Okay.
network.
Okay. Yes. And network, you mean the normal traffic flow is kind of happening in the company, right?
And the critical applications which are exposing to the internet.
Okay. So okay. Critical application. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So to say, you guys have actually given the right answer. So definitely, let's start with the 4 point that has been mentioned. So definitely the first point which was discussed about data. So data, we need to be kind of little bit more kind of, we will kind of see this thing in much more deeper level. So data would mean, let's say, the intellectual property of the company, which will also mean intellectual property of the company, which would also mean not just the intellectual property, but it will also mean the data of, let's say, the customers that this company is handling. Let's say there is SOC team for the bank. Okay, so the data that they will also be trying to protect is not just the intellectual property of the bank, but it will also try to protect the banking details of the customer that they manage. Okay, so these are the few of the things that will kind of coming out in the data, but data is something definitely the most important thing that we save out. We, as I told, we also kind of protect the critical assets. Let's say it can be multiple things, the critical, like the critical applications that is exposed to the internet. Let's say that there is a bank, it has a website for the net banking, so we protect those things, like a customer uses that net banking by visit from via internet. So we protect those applications from getting attacked. So those will be one of the critical assets, let's say, at a deeper level. Let's say for a bank, one of the other critical assets will be managing the servers, which is handling the ATM transaction. So, and then the next part is definitely the network traffic. So network traffic will be kind of, we need to be a little bit more in depth, is that our part, basically maintaining the traffic, will be also be the kind of target of one other team, that is a network team, which doesn't kind of